So understanding what you've just seen with regards to your primary colors being red, blue and yellow, and your secondary colors being violet, orange and green, what questions have you got?
What would happen if you mixed a purple and a red, so a primary and a secondary color?
So if we took a primary and a secondary and mixed that together, the great thing that happens there is when you mix a primary and a secondary together, the color that you create in the middle is something we call a tertiary color. Now if you think about it, out of the red and the violet, which one is the pure or the primary color?
Red.
So when we mix those two together, which one do you feel may be a little bit stronger?
Purple or red?
The red one, because remember, it's a primary color.
Okay.
It exists on its own. We've had to mix something to make the purple.
Yeah.
So the red is a pure color, being a primary, so that is always going to be a little bit stronger. So when we mix a red and a violet together, the color that we create is a red-violet.
Oh.
What do you think happens when we mix orange and yellow together? Which one is the primary?
The yellow.
And secondary is?
Orange.
So the color that I create here becomes a yellow, orange. Your red and your orange together is going to give you a
red-orange.
A green and a yellow together. What do you think that's going to give you?
Yellow and green.
Beautiful. Now that is not the world's sexiest color, but I promise you in the world of hair color, it is an essential part of the palette to have, because you'll see on the next step in terms of the world of color why these things are super important. When you mix blue and green together, we're going to get a
blue-green.
Another sexy, attractive color that is super key in terms of the world of hairdressing. And the last one that we're going to do is blue and violet together will give us a
blue-violet.
So having a look at those and now understanding that we have primary colors in a red, blue and a yellow, secondary colors in orange, green and violet, and our tertiary colors in a combination of primary and secondary, we can now take the next step in terms of understanding the next principle that happens in the world of hair color. And the principle of there is that opposites will always counteract or neutralize each other. Think of a client who's got blonde hair and they buy a shampoo to maintain their blonde at home. Typically, what color is that shampoo?
I'm not sure.
There's a reason for it. Have you ever heard that blonde client going, my hair's a little gold?
Yeah.
As a colorist, gold for us is yellow. Client does not want that yellow, so they want to counteract that yellow or neutralize it. If we move directly opposite yellow, what color is directly opposite yellow?
Purple.
Purple. So in the wonderful world of color, anything that is directly opposite will counteract. And what you're going to find is yellow will counteract violet. Flip it over. If you've ever seen a blonde client that loves toning their hair, I call them the blondorexic. When they've overtoned their hair, what do you think you can put onto that client that's got that purpley tinge in their hair to get rid of it?
The yellow?
Not many hairdressers will do that. They literally will tend to go for one product first to try and remove that and in essence create more of that. So by simplifying it and following the rules behind how the world of color works, we will make our lives a lot easier. So for us, when we have a look at the color wheel, always understand that opposites will counteract, and the color or tone that it does in the middle when you start doing that is what we call a natural or a neutral tone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that neutral tone or natural tone is super, super important for us, because how often in a consultation do you think your client is saying they just want to look natural?
More often.
It's so important for us to achieve those really natural, neutral results that we understand what we have in the client's hair and what we need to use to counteract that. For your client that wants to be that super bright pop of copper, copper in hairdressing world is orange. So if you take orange and put orange on orange, you create even more orange. If you don't want the orange in your hair, what are you going to put on the orange to get rid of the orange?
We're going to counteract that with blue.
You are on the money. If you've got blue in your hair and you want to get rid of blue, you need to use?
Orange.
Perfect. And the last two that we have a look at in terms of how that works is your reds and your
Green.
greens. Blonde clients that swim in swimming pools and spend a lot of time in there, they always tend to go a little bit on the green side, which is a little murky.
Yeah.
All we need to do to counteract that is go in with a red. And you'll discover when we go through the world of O&M that we've already pre-mixed a lot of these colors up for you to take the guessing work out of achieving those beautiful neutral or natural results.
So it's all based on this.
Everything is based on the world of color when it comes to understanding and getting the correct result in the world of O&M from a color perspective.